Okay, it's Saturday morning. We're here about 10 minutes late for the pilots meeting. Looks like everybody beat us here, in fact. Looks like it should be a nice day, maybe a possibility of a little bit of rain.
Conclusion of the meeting, if you would, for the sake of ease of the pit bosses and full test crew, go ahead and move your plane to selected circles, get yourself full tested, know your flight order, and make sure you're there when it's your turn. Also bear in mind that there will be changes to the flight order off and on throughout the day because judges will need to be flown, and we will try to fly them first. So if you're a judge, go ahead and head to your respective circle. Go ahead and get pulled, and we'll get you flown first before we commence with the rest of the flying activity. Main thing is to make things as easy as possible on the pit boss crew. It's hard to find pilots. They don't know all of you, although they may know most of you. So if your plane's there at the top of the pit where he can see your AMA number, and you just go and check off next to your name and let them know that you're there, that will greatly ease them trying to hunt you down when it's your turn to fly. But we'd like to get that done first. That way they can resume just concentrating on getting everybody on and off the circle with one pit crew for two circles in particular right here at intermediate and advanced. And that's about all I have. Hold on for a minute here and we'll see what else.
Even if you have pre-registered, you still need to come up to Sandy and the other young ladies up here and make sure you show your AMA card. So if you pre-register and you haven't shown your AMA card, you must come up and show your AMA card. We have the list of appearance points, and as your score sheets come in, your appearance points will be added to your score sheet. Questions on pattern points? To receive pattern points, you must fly the pattern as prescribed in the book, on the drawings per se, and also the verbal backup information in the paragraphs. Whether you're blown out of a maneuver by wind, and it could be even under no wind conditions, you could be blown out of a maneuver simply by flying through your own prop turbulence or flap wake. But you must fly the pattern. One example came up in 87, if anybody was at windy Lincoln. Anybody there in 87?
Yep.
Okay, you know how windy that was. I did watch Casal in the Cloverleaf come in, do an inside, he did an outside, and when he came up like this, he lost it, came over way back here, still did one great big outside loop, came back up, and then up to the center. That maneuver exits right over your head. But the one thing he did is he did 1, 2, 3, 4. There were still 4 in that prescribed order. 1, 2, 3, 4. Even though this one was ugly, it was still one outside loop that came around like this, and he did receive pattern points for that particular maneuver. He did not get a lot of points for the maneuver, but he got pattern points. So be aware that you must do also Luke Dutka at Lincoln, because he did 4 outside loops, he lost pattern points. So, and that was on top 5 day. So you have to know that even the experts make errors, but you must fly the pattern as described in the book. Even if you're blown out or whatever the case may be, if it's not recognized by the judges, you will not receive pattern points.
Enter and exit from the same train.
And you must enter and exit correctly.
You get, even though you missed the maneuver, you get 10 points for an attempt.
Right, because you've even tried the maneuver or messed it up, you still get 10 points for attempting that particular maneuver if the judge cannot recognize it as the way it's described in the book, but you lose pattern points. But for instance, Casal, even when he did his inside, outside, really ugly outside, inside and up, they were in the prescribed quadrants of that X in the sky, and he may only gotten maybe a 17 or 16, but he still got his pattern points because of that, because he put them in the prescribed order in the proper location. Any questions on pattern points? Yes, sir. Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How many attempts to one official? Since this is a 2-day deal.
You have 3 attempts over the 2 days. So, for instance, as it happened with me at Muncie 2 weeks ago, I went out to start my motor, and let me tell you, there were a lot of motors that day, different brands, different setups that didn't start. And I spent 2 attempts on the first flight. So I only had 1 left. So, for instance, if you take 2 attempts today, you only have 1 attempt for tomorrow. And we did publish that.
Second question.
Yes, sir.
Full test for 4-stroke engines.
Full tests for 4-stroke engines are done as per 60% of your displacement size going to the 2-cycle listing. So if you've got a 100 4-stroke, you're going to be pulling as a 60 2-stroke. Is that a good parallelism? Okay. Any other questions? Can I remind all of you to be very safe, fly safely, help each other, have a good time. Judges, I need you to fly first. One more question before we go. Remind you, 7:45 pilots meeting tomorrow morning, 7:30 FCM service. Okay, thank you very much.
No, you get that point across. I heard the rest of the summer he's still wrestling.
This is Joe Adamusto's first official on the new tar circle at Brodak. Joe's flying Mr. Awesome. I believe that's a Cyto 72 in there.
Evo Varsky, well, what is it?
Evo is beer, Varsky is brewer.
There you go.
I'm the beer brewer.
Okay.
No, I didn't. No, that's more like our vodka. Yes, Scott Richmond, Tom McLean, what's his name up there? Our former president, Dick Hauser.
Oh, that's what, Northern Virginia?
Out of Virginia Control.
So this one you got a good group then.
Yeah, people from Philly or other places coming out. You guys like each other because it's so much
Take it from me, I do.
Well, I'm not actually certain who this flyer is, and I'm going to stop filming now because I can't keep up with that dark airplane in this eyepiece, and I feel like I'm just chasing it around and probably wasting tape. Okay, this is Tom Dixon flying his Avati. Dixon. This is Dan Banjock and Miss Susie Q.
How do you think this is? 2 to 3 pounds.
judges today at the expert circle at Brodak's event is Warren T. Hart, Woody Midgley, and Doug Taffender. But the life of leisure. Kevin Stewart. Now we get back to Kevin Stewart. I had the camera set wrong. Imagine that. Hampshire. Sounds like the beginning of the end. Thunder.
Well, we got what we could. Don Dixon has been shooting footage. I hope it's giving you some idea what that beginning. We went about halfway through the round. We have a fella here from Russia. He'd probably be the last one on that flight who's made his own motor, has a take-apart plane that's very unique, actually flies well, and it's a two-cycle. It sounds like a four-stroke. It's really quiet. And so we're going to try to get him to do a little demo tonight, but of course it's subject to interpretation because he doesn't speak English, but we're going to try to get him to do it. Anyway, it's pouring rain. They've called off the second half of the first round. We're just going to have to play it by ear now and see what happens. And we're not sure exactly what that is right now. As you can see, all our rats are running to the ship.
There, where are you? Anyway, the gentleman with the blue jacket and the Brodak signs on that.
Jim's headed to the go-go lounge.
Select your own fine Dawson while you're there. And as always, thanks for shopping at Kmart.
Here's Father Regis. He said this wasn't going to happen. What's this? Cancel my trip to the Catholic Church. Give me that key. You found your keys? Yeah. He lost his keys last night. And I said, say a prayer and you'll find them. Right, there you go.
Got him. Yep.
See, it's the power of prayer. Right. All right. Say a prayer for me while you're at it. I need it. Doug is up there on the hill. He's doing his thing with the judging. No, he's in a car. No, we wouldn't leave him up there. Jesus. Especially on a day he's judging. We'll kiss him, throw a judging's on him, and then we're mean to him again. He hasn't figured that out yet. Hey, Doug, did you get wet? Oh, come on. That's the thing at Brodak's. Even when it rains, you're having fun. God is always with us on these days. Now, Sandy Bruce is dry. I don't know if that means she's kind of an executive secretary here. Oh, yeah. Saved by the bell. Now, I thought I smelled somebody smoking marijuana. I'm sorry, it's Catherine's candle sale. Boy, if you want to get high, just get downwind of these candles. What's in here, Catherine? Chocolate? Don't let Elliot see that.
This is designed for women to fake their husbands out. Make them think they're faking brown.
Women always get the final laugh on the dumb husbands. All right.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
When she's in a hurry, she just burns
I can picture Elliot eating that candle.
Where's Elliot? If he thinks that's $15 and you can eat it, he'll buy it. But anyway, it sometimes just turns out to be the best part of Brodak as we watch the raindrops fall. Master photographer, if that plane flies off the screen even once, Don Dixon did it. Ruben, what time did he wake up this morning? You turn the ice maker on, he's out of bed like a lightning bolt, huh? See, I'm proud I've had some influence on a young man that was headed in the wrong direction.
But eventually, we get back to civilization.
Of course, he was late getting to the wrong direction. Look at this rain. Oh, my God. The autumn leaves. Looks like perfect farm weather to me. Well, you know who brings this? Tom Morris, because then all the guys go over there and steal stuff from him when he's not looking. Banjock, put those horns back. I'm telling Tom Morris, you guys are clipping his stuff. Well, the contest has been canceled until this afternoon at 1:30. It's around 11 now, so we're going to go back to the hotel, dry up. It has really rained. And we'll come back and live to fight another day. Tonight there'll be some demos. We're hoping we're going to get our friend who's here from Russia to, I think he's staying in Canada. He's here. Do a little demo if he can. If I can get it on video, it'll be nice. He made his own engine. I'm interested in that. And he has some unique take-apart features in his plane. I'm real interested in that. A lot of cool stuff. We're going to see what we can get. If we can get him to do it. If he doesn't, I'm going to spank him. That's all there is to it. Anyway, he doesn't speak English, but his friend, I think it's his friend, Anatoly, does speak a little English, so we can get mine to, and I speak fluent Polish, so we'll kind of figure it out if we can get him to come down. Anyway, back to the hotel. Into every life a little rain must fall, even Wendy's. Sadly, things do not look promising weather-wise. I don't know. Alan and John Sunderland are going to make a decision at 1:30. It's 1:22. Got the floats for that, Tom? Got the float kit, the F-104 float kit?
That would be something.
What do you think? Go, no go?
How you doing, Jose?
No go right now.
Raining like hell back at the hotel.
Went back and changed.
Randy got a shock.
Did you hold it for me?
While flying.
Who got?
I did.
You got one? Oh. Oh, that feels good, huh? Up to a point.
Oh yeah.
Well, now I gotta sit down.
Wendy,
Take my.
you gotta see what this purple thing looks like. I said, just your colors, Jose.
Jose, if you want to buy it, it's for sale. How much money you got with you?
That's the orange.
Boy, that's the Jose Mobile up there.
No price tag on that one, I'll tell you.
Money can't buy that thing.
There's my dollars.
Thank
You can buy
God.
number 2, but you can't buy that one.
Carbon fiber wing and tail. That's the Woody machine.
And no cow. Be my guest. Climb up in there. You're younger than I am.
Jump in there, baby.
No cow. Wide open in the front so we can...
Fits Tigers and Satos. One easy fit.
Yeah, look at that.
Does it?
Yeah.
Did you go back to the hotel? We didn't see
Hey, we were thinking of you when we built that.
And throw it.
you went back when you rested.
Throw it out.
What plans are these?
Midgley's card.
No. The plans on the floor.
Oh, Jose, hold the plane solid. Hold the plane solid. Look, this is what we like about it. Can your plane do that? Wow. Look at that tail.
Flaps and elevators.
Yeah, elevators, flaps, everything's carbon.
The whole bit. Oh, yeah, but not again.
And the gear.
Windy was easy.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And the flaps are all for the same material?
Yeah, but that was difficult. There's 10 hours in putting the hinges in those flaps.
Wow, difficult, yeah.
And then you got to slot in. Right. And sometimes when you put the piece in there, you put the glue on it and you hold it, it gives you a little effect in here where it gives you a bubble. It doesn't stay smooth. But I'll tell you, 68 ounces,
for, I think Wendy said 800 square inches, so I don't know how many.
Keep in mind, the florist, they're closed tomorrow. So whatever decision you make shall be done by 5 o'clock tonight. Yeah. You need to talk to Pete Klepsik.
Well, the trouble is counting them. I mean, how many girls are actually doing this?
I don't know. But if you move one out,
Yeah, exactly.
it's a problem. It's worse than not doing it. We want you to fly it, Jose. Man, it'll good. Fly her up as soon as the contest's over. If these wimps are going to stop playing, you know, carbon does not pick up water.
No.
We may have the only plane if it really rains.
But the wooden body does. I mean,
Wow, we're going to throw that body away at the end of the year. That's the ugliest body I've ever seen.
I don't think
What are you talking about? I know. The hell you were thinking of when you carved that up?
The body makes the airplane. Look at this.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like a cardinal. No sexy curves, everything all square.
No canopy.
No canopy.
I gotta put Big Jim's name on here.
Ah!
Yeah, I was just wondering, that seems environmentally, I can't see
It's 70 ounces. Don't let him lie to you.
68, 69, 70,
He's got 9-inch wheels on it and all his heavy stuff. The lead spinner option.
but it works great.
Well, it will not pick up water if you decide to fly it.
So when do you do the carbon? You already did a carbon body, didn't you?
I got 2 carbon bodies.
I'm saying, once
Now all we do is put the pieces together.
pieces together now.
In midair.
Oh, yeah.
Have they made a decision yet, or are they still...
I'm gonna try again for 130.
Okay.
Funny's going on with my...
Who needs control line stunt when I have my easy chair? Oh man, is this a... Banjack has nothing on you guys. Oh. Home Depot's packing up the tent, so to speak. What is there, a sale at Walmart? You can't got a cashier.
Wall is his head now.
Home Depot. See you at Home Depot, baby. Have a good one.
Before you get started with your camera.
Yeah.
I'm Nelson
Herbs, who was foolish enough to buy a few Windy videos and continues to buy them.
I love them. I'll be catching up with you, don't worry.
Don't worry about it. The world ain't gonna hinge on 2 videos, trust me.
Well, I'm kind of interested in that Nobler series, because I think
Oh, from? All right. He's at Brodak, and the entertainment committee has started. Al Knight's got his bi-swab out there. We're still waiting for a decision, but it sure doesn't look good, one way or another. Looks like the buy car here. Hey, Al Knight. All right, baby. like a world upside down. You can see it's raining pretty good right now. To go to England and be miserable and wet, Joe. What a mess. Elliot, I feel like we're visiting England. Good old Meta England.
Channel that what was blowing through was coming through. Obviously, it's not all the way through yet. They said that they would be taking, should be out of here by mid-afternoon. Technically, because of the weather and the summertime hours, we could fly right up until 9 o'clock if need be. Buzz would prefer that you stay in the area and eat the supper because there's a lot of beans coming in here tonight.
And going out Sunday.
Methane gas.
Now, we're going to attempt to get something together in the garage if anybody was interested in a small class or a how-to type session. We're going to do that impromptu. In the meantime, stay dry while we get organized on that. Something entertaining in the meantime. Like I said, Buzz would appreciate it if you would stay close, because she's got a lot of food coming. Hopefully by that time, if nothing else, we'll be able to get a nice hot meal at 6 o'clock this evening. And
That's when the paint demo is. No, just kidding.
Well, we'll paint the food, Bob.
Paint the food. There you go.
you make me blush. Brain beans.
Yeah, well,
Candy apple red.
we're trying to get something together for paint in there right now, too.
All right. Bob Brookins is informing he is, for those of you that don't know, a professional automotive finisher, and he does nothing but custom work. He's going to explain to you how to do candy apple finishes and so forth. And if you've ever seen any of his aircraft, it is beyond, there's bar none. You can't get any better than that. Top-notch work, and I'm sure he can give everybody a leg up on how to do these types of finishes, different types of clackers, and so on and so forth down the line. That may not be what he wanted to give it on, but he is now. Yes.
I just got back from the motel looking at the weather channel. Looks like about another hour and a half for the second blind to move through here. Sorry about that clear up there.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully, even if we can't resume until 5 o'clock, that would still give us 4 hours flying time. If we were halfway through a round, that would be enough time for us to finish up the round by 8 o'clock tonight, and we'll just ferry people on and off the field to come eat supper, okay? I appreciate your patience with us. Obviously, we don't have control of the weather. Tomorrow, the prediction is that we're going to have the best weather we've seen yet. So, and these guys aren't far off on the weather prediction. You just...
He has a friend in New Wilmington here. New Wilmington is supposed to run about 100 miles due north. Well, actually,
You wanted a custom plate?
Who's the lucky owner of the plane? This the one they're raffling off later? Very cool.
Yeah, I just can't. Bearcat,
I assume. What?
Bearcat.
I want you to know we just finished. I started at 8 this morning. I just finished this in here.
Cool.
who owns the Bearcat? Who owns the Bearcat, Brookins?
I don't know, that's what I was trying to find out.
Well, you're supposed to know. You're doing a demo.
It was just sitting here when I came out here, and I thought maybe...
Then they probably won't know if we take it.
No. But I thought,
Let's raffle it off.
if you got some pearl, I can shoot some light pearl candy, and...
Looks pretty good the way it is.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, let's repaint it for him while it's done.
Why don't we let you repaint it?
Piper cream.
Piper cream.
And you can dry sand it. Don't be able to shoot light pearl over that, because she's not here today. She'll be here tomorrow. White pearl? Light pearl. She's not here today. Oh, light pearl, where is she?
With her sister, Dark Pearl. Oh, Palmer's in the front row. He's ready to bite our heads off.
By emergency rowboat.
Yes, you got to send it.
Is this your test paper?
Oh, sorry.
We already tested it. Is this it here? Yeah. Okay.
Now, what was the prognosis?
Turned yellow. Good. Did anybody put any clear over to see what happened?
No. Well, as far as I know, I don't put clear over it till I'm all done with the airplane.
I know, but this one was asking.
I have done that, yeah.
Didn't stay yellow? A lot different color, or did it change a little
It
bit?
stayed the same. Well, if you had to sand it, sand through the clear, you still got the same problem.
Yeah, I understand that. That's not what I was meaning. A lot of times when you put clear over it, then sometimes it brings the colors back out the way they were. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes it'll stay this different shades.
I don't think it would cover, it wouldn't change back.
Because it's stratus, it's laying in layers of different colors.
It'll do it here too.
Where's the sandpaper?
Come over here where there's a room up in you,
We'll use the other side of this, and we'll get Ben set up, we'll have you spray some pieces on here of how you started to prep it. Don't go through all of it, but put some clear on it, and I don't know, do you use Brodak primer?
No.
Okay, so you're just shooting over clear
On tissue.
Okay, and silver?
And silver.
Okay, right here. I'm gonna go get
What we could do is mask stripes in the silver, so that it's natural, so you can see. Then go over that with some orange. That will show
some orange also? That's out here?
Al Williams threw that in this morning.
There's, he's got a, you know where his paints are?
Yeah.
There's some sandpapers down there.
Okay.
Right. You go east to go back.
See, grown man.
That's right. More commercialized on the presentations all over the place. Restaurants, homesteads. You go to the Chamber of Commerce or visit yourself, they give you a map as to... I guess. Yeah, the wheels, yeah, that's great. Material store. Cool. Very nice.
It's bad for us today. I don't see it stopping now. I think they ought to be banned. That's just...
I just got away while triplane man knocks a few people over there. Triplane man, I didn't know you were that strong. You have 3 wings in your plane. Wow.
That's a trophy.
Let me get this away from him for 1 second. This is George Enoch's model. Eno or Enoch? Enoch. Enoch, okay, and he's got a... He made the pilot that's in my Sea Flyer. This is worth a little demo, George. If you don't want to do it, I'll do it. I'll tell him I made it. Wow, we get it.
Takes the top layer up and you have a yellow.
That's beautiful. Nicely finished. George, you're an okay guy. Okay, what Phil Spillman says about you. He lies. We're going to kick him in his good leg. Nice.
Small, narrow lettering and what have you. And it's very dumb shot at 30 back and forth. That one's very good.
What kind of primer is this? You don't say that word in the videos anymore. That's nice. Ruby for looking at cars and fillets.
really shaded the floor in there.
Oh, yeah, so it looks like a shadow.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a flat floor.
Yeah, that's very nice. Little gun sight?
Excuse me.
That's real nice, George.
This is that Envirotech's white resin. That Morris coating you use.
Yeah, right, I know what it is, yeah.
It's really great for fiberglassing.
Boy, if Petey could build a plane this light, wow, we'd have it.
Tell me to go home and stay there. That's all the problem with it.
Don't pay me no more place to read. Cream is out.
We're just on passing around.
That's an HVLP connector rather than the other. They got lots of.
If you pay attention, Lou, you'd be okay, just like in school, huh? Here's a standard fitting, you just look at, compare the size to it. Yeah, someone put it back on.
Okay, I'm just saying, with my...
You have the right. Has anybody else experienced anything like this? And does anybody else dry sand their paint?
We got in kind of late. Did you kind of freeze?
This is a Piper cream that Roy the camera has had some experience with. He painted it, and we did some of this last night when he sanded this with the dry sandpaper.
Those two are the same.
Now this doesn't have any clear on it, right?
Well, those two are the same.
This bright yellow.
Those two are all
Now what'll happen if you wet sand it also? Well, I'm sure it'll do the same thing. Wouldn't matter. But I was just wondering if anybody else experienced any other colors, or how many people even sand their paint before they put clear on it?
My wet sand color, that usually, if I wet sand it, it gets kind of a greenish cast to the change a little bit, just because of the shadow.
Right. And then you clear it and everything's fine.
Sure.
This is
That would also resemble low 3 clear. Volume,
Yeah.
low pressure. Yeah, that's low volume. That's whatever you... You got it? I got a big enough umbrella, I don't care.
How long hose do you have? Probably pretty close, yes. The longer your air hose is, the more it'll drop at the end. Think about a 25, 30-foot air hose will probably drop about 7 pounds maybe. From there to your gun.
So it's a good thing you have the regulator after.
Yeah, and it's a good thing to, that actually is about the best way to paint, the regulator at the end, because that's what you have. And there's a lot of new guns coming out that have a regulator built right into them, but they're not expensive.
Have you ever tried war base on an airplane? I mean,
Well, didn't even know they'd ever made any for an airplane until yesterday.
I mean, I didn't know, I don't know if, I just thought, I was curious if you ever tried an automotive.
Well, I probably wouldn't, just because of the fact since water base is going to soak into my wood.
Yeah.
And thinner evaporates a hell of a lot faster than wood, water does. We already have enough problems with water, look outside, right?
What is it, are we building an ark?
It's multiple. Hey, coming it out. Let them drown. They can work very easily. And if I'm not mistaken, I may have some other deal also. Yes. Personally, I like the water trap at the wall. Doesn't hurt to have the little plastic when you're talking about looks like a ball that goes in between. But they can restrict an HVLP. Can you hear Lou?
Yes, sir.
Because I can hear Lou.
You ain't supposed to.
You got the air on? Air compressor's running? Okay. Roy, do you have any preference as to what paint gun you attack this piece of wood with?
What am I allegedly gonna do?
Oh, I just want you to kind of try and duplicate how you sprayed your base and everything on your yellow. We know it's going to probably do the same thing because we've seen the way you do that. You want to do it with your silver because you had problems with the yellow covering?
The orange covering, so.
Okay. Without using a blocker coat. What I would cut.
Okay. Hyper cream. Okay.
I don't know if I'm supposed to, this is bare wood.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill.
Maybe open that door, because I think
Just put a couple boots of clear on it.
to go on. Like that. You can get that for $2.
John, do you have one of the planes that's, like, I see the blue one there, could you use a piece of that to do a fan?
Well, he's going to do that on my P40. I'm just in the Sandy station, I don't care if he's sending it off anyway.
Yeah, that's a combo of confidence.
Not on tape, is it?
I'm looking at a piece of metal.
I'm not a piece of metal that's different from wholesale, it doesn't absorb. It's kind of like the tin can, you know, have rubbery the paint goes on it. So I'm gonna use a brush some of it. Yeah.
That's right.
Did you go move that Bearcat? Yeah, I wonder. Put him on tape. You know how the camera is, he'll think that thing.
Put some fiber frame with it. I guess that could be a new system. You could paint it all hyper cream, mask off what you want yellow and sand it. Save the step. 2 colors in 1 step. I'd like to try, we would try that with some of the.
I think more people would be more receptive of things that they don't work out. We were all drinking beer.
Yeah.
Then we could say it's the alcohol's fault, right? I didn't do it, it wasn't me.
Is that right? Yeah. Oh, that's that Brodak clear, would that be compatible?
Well, I'm going to say that you can probably do what you want to do, but I'm going to say that it's always best to stick with the same product so that you don't have any problems. And if you do have a problem, you can come back and talk to myself or Wendy, or you can talk to Mr. Brodak, because if you've changed products on it, it's awful difficult to talk to somebody about that and know what the hell actually took place. Yeah?
You know what it's like, if you eat in Taco Bell, go to McDonald's and a Burger King, come home and vomit, who do you think?
What an analogy.
What an
Only here.
And you were back.
Yeah, just without color on the step. You want to do a little sanding on it around your cockpit, or you want me to just go ahead and paint on it?
Just go ahead, because I'm
Okay.
gonna... Silver one? Yeah, silver one.
Have you ever tried using acetone as a gun cleaner rather than cheap thinner?
One time.
Yeah, okay.
Works very good because it cleans better.
Yeah, and it's cheaper.
And look around.
Cheap thinner leaves a white residue too.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot better than thinner.
Just don't breathe it in and light a match when you're ready.
Just use it clear on the paint over it? You don't care if I just do one wing or something? We'll try that.
Cheap thinner. No, not cheap thinner.
We'll try that wing. One wing we'll do is just straight colors, and one wing we'll mess around with some candy on it.
That's the Chinese.
Just mix a little orange up and shoot it right here. We don't have to go any further with all that.
Okay.
A little orange across the border. Well, you're gonna put all gravel.
Right.
Can we trade in that for a spy plane?
Yeah.
Try to put a little more paint on the right wing panel than the left.
You have to disassemble it.
What did you say you were going over guns? things that were silver and they were sanded, was that, without putting another coat of silver on? When Roy said he had a problem yesterday, I interpreted it to be that he was going over silver, where you sanded the silver, but then never put more silver on.
Right.
That's one thing that I never do, I wouldn't even consider it, because it defeats the whole purpose of the silver.
What was that again?
In other words, when you sand a mottled finish like this and then you want to cover it, the amount of colored paint you need to cover a mottled finish as opposed to silver in color is at least 3 or 4 times.
Definitely.
If you gram weight it, it's not even close.
So what you're saying is after you've sanded yours, you put on an even coat of silver over
Then coat of silver.
Me too.
Yeah.
Or whatever color I'm using.
What I was saying, Wendy, is I was getting by with SIG without having to put the blocking coat on. And because I have a very difficult time trying to build a light airplane, the light paint I got you know, everybody brags about whatever. I've never seen them carry a scale. I've never seen anybody come out and say, this is 37 ounces.
That isn't going to be a new trend in the event.
Show me a scale.
Do you have a scale?
No.
No, but a lot of people don't realize how important it is to have it in silver. I don't care what, even if you're going to make the plane black, because that last coat, when you try to cover the amount you use to cover it is always more than if you use the blocker coat. But if you don't like silver, polar gray is good. I think Billy likes polar gray.
You put like half white and half polar gray.
Half white, half polar gray, but never go over a mottled finish with a pigmented paint. That is, because sometimes Bob will say you take it out in the sun. And Mike Rogers had that happen where the red was redder here, then it was orange here, and he thought it was the paint. It's the underlayment coming through.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I'm saying is, if I can get away with it, I will. And I got away with it with SIG orange.
Without a blocker coat?
Yeah. And I couldn't get away with it with the setting of the Brodak setting.
We have somebody run down to the store and get it.
Everybody was saying it would take less
next to each other.
I used Brodak coat. And I found that there were cases where this was not true.
Bob, let me ask you, do they ever paint cars without blocker coating them and with... Pardon? Do they ever paint a car without blocker coating it?
I would use a sealer.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of like even in custom where they paint with the white underlayment and stuff. Here,
Well, anytime, like let's say if I'm doing an automobile and I'm going to use pearl white or silver or gold or anything, I have a blocker coat of clear. And that's kind of the same thing, but everything has to be even.
Yeah, you can't paint a zebra and make them...
The chickens have their primers, different colored primers. If you're painting a green car, they have green primer, different shades of primer.
That's a
pretty well matched the color that you're painting.
Yeah.
Is it mixed up with candy color?
No, this is the orange we're doing right now.
And Wendy, the cars, when they're painting cars in the plant, they dip the whole bloody thing in primer.
Yeah,
it's all one color, man.
But the point is, whether it's gray, black, or white, it's all one color. It isn't a zebra or a leopard.
That's
Right. You try to paint a leopard or a zebra.
Well, what happens when you try to paint a wall on a house inside there and you have different colors, spot petals on it?
Yeah.
Paint over a pattern wallpaper.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 40 coats.
I found that orange pigment separates out a lot, and if you have to really stir the bottom of the can to get all
This was scared good, and I think this is one of the ones you got when the first...
We had a paint scraper at work that I used to put all my dope in.
This comes like from the first order that you bought, so this might be a little low on pigment.
It's over 2 years old. Yeah, I think it probably was. I think it probably, for the most part, any of the dopes that tend to separate a little more had the same problem as the yellow. You know, I mean, one guy got a straight scotch, the other guy got mostly water.
Right.
Yeah. They're protecting you.
Yeah, I got Warren. Warren, how do you like the turbine?
I love it.
Those are pretty spendy, aren't they?
They are very spendy.
$500-700.
Warren doesn't care.
Warren's wife really cares. What's the $700 on the visa?
Yes.
The thing that I like about it, I noticed my system isn't called Apollo, which comes out of San Diego, but the gun is a totally pressure gun. And I think I mentioned it to you. You know, the fan or whatever you want to call it, the butterfly wings on the front of the thing. In the horizontal thing, you have a pattern that is vertical. You know, your fan is vertical. When you turn it, and you can just grab it and turn it 90 degrees. You don't have to loosen anything. There's a little diver. And then, obviously, then the pattern becomes horizontal. And there's also a detent at 45 degrees. The pattern is round. And with my system, all you can adjust is the total. All you adjust is paint. The air comes out constantly.
And there's one knob adjustment on it.
There's only one knob adjustment on the whole gun. And the thing is, if you're painting and you're halfway through, and you grab the hose, which is the size of a garden hose, and it's warm. Which I think is one of the keys to make the thing work. You know, I like it real well.
It's exactly what Jimmy has. We kind of visually explain it.
That's fine,
That's 2 coats. Now, you still see all the stuff
Bob, turn it around this way.
I mean, even though it wouldn't be covered, and you're right, like when I painted cars, my favorite masking paper is black checkerboard and white checkerboard, because when it's up against the door and I'm painting, I can tell when it's completely covered. It may look covered on the door, but you actually look at right here at your edge and it may still need a coat or two.
Now, see, where it causes my problems is even if I sprayed a blocking coat, say, I do simple paint jobs. I went to the stripes because I could paint this, mask it off, paint the stripes, mask it off, paint what's left, and I'm done. It's just a simple paint job. I can't do hard work like Jimmy does. So when I spray this, now I've got overspray because I go beyond.
Okay.
I'm not going to mask off and paint just this part. I don't like to put 2 lines together. They always come out goofy.
You don't like the back mask, you're not lacquered in it, okay?
And there's a lot of things, people talk about back masking. Back mask the stripes on that fuselage stripe on that Gulfstream or Bearcat. So even if I sprayed a blocking coat, when I mask this piece off after it's been painted, now I got cream out here. Now I'm going to put the black stripe down. I've got black and cream out there. I'll go and lightly sand it to make it smooth, but I've got 3 different colors there, and I'm trying to cover that with this orange.
Okay.
That's my complaint.
And it took a lot more than 2 or 3 coats.
What I ended up doing with the orange was taking the airbrush and going over all these light places and just kept going over them and going over them, and then went with a 3rd coat over the whole thing. When I was done, it looked fine, but God, it was a lot of work.
Do you have any orange out of a new batch?
No, that's still all the same thing, that 1%. Just now we're starting to turn over that.
Okay.
Because the forest green, lemon yellow, that's our first colors we're doing over.
Okay.
That's to say, Jim, if somebody's going down there, if we just grab
And
another
the thing
can.
that I found, Bob, was when I was using SIG, all this overspray, I could dry sand it. But I couldn't do it with John's coat. I had to go in and wet sand it.
Okay.
And I don't like the wet.
You don't like the wet sand?
No.
Isn't it about the same difference if you spray another coat, or let's say you spray 3 coats of this, or yours is 2 coats of an orange with more pigment, isn't the weight going to be similar?
Pretty close.
I mean, you're putting the same amount of pigment on, it's just how much...
And you got your gassing out of your clear and everything, your thinners and stuff.
I've shot some of the
but it's
early
like you
forest
said,
green, and I noticed that the coverage wasn't huge, but you put on another coat, and I don't think...
Putting like 3 coats of paint doesn't have a lot of pigment in it, about the same weight as paint with pigment in it that's 2 coats. Well, yes, but that's not your problem. It's how much more you have to do to it. You know, whether it takes 2 or more coats or whatever, it's the extra time and it's the extra materials.
And you're building it up thicker on masking tape.
Even if it's clear and, yeah. Now, Miss Ashley read.
See, and what keeps going through my mind is everybody in Sutton is saying, you'll use less paint. That's the thing that goes around in my head.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be using less paint.
Well, I haven't painted any orange. I painted the reds and stuff.
I've painted
last color.
Well, that Miss Ashley, all that's all been mixed.
Yeah.
So we started doing it towards the end, but I can't remember say when it came in, we get like 10, 55-gallon drums at one time. So we start borrowing. Well, you know the first 3 or 4 will be okay. The longer we wait, the more the other ones are settled.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I don't know what paints.
See?
Now we know the oranges, we have problems with the orange.
And what I'm thinking, John, is that I don't think Brodak dope is bad. I think Randolph is shortchanging John Brodak. That's what I think.
We haven't, other than that orange and yellow, nobody complained about any pigments in it. What about the other colors? Well, you had that sandy thing, but I don't know what problem with the yellow, with the cream.
How do you feel about sand in the color?
How do I feel?
I don't sand colors.
I don't say color that's absolutely necessary, and usually I wind up putting another coat of paint on it or something. I mean, but that's what I do.
It's the little, where, you picked up, look at it, and bang the light with it.
Yeah.
You got a little finger fix, or a bug landed in it. You take that.
You did everything in that basement.
And I'll send you 2 more samples of dope. I'll just label them A and B. I won't tell you what they are. And you paint silver and white stripes.
Okay.
You shoot all 3 of them.
Okay.
Tell me which one covers best, which covers second best, which covers
I'll shoot silver, white, and black.
Okay. I'll send you a couple samples.
Okay.
In fact, I might just fly out and bug you and do it together.
That'd be great.
I think what you should do is go down to John's hobby shop, get a thing of that Sig cream that he's trying to sell for 60% off. And let's have a shootout right now.
Sounds good to me.
Get a fresh cream on each one.
Are you buying? So I suppose the demo guy is buying if we lose.
I mean, I've had, just to be fair, so we have a balanced presentation, I can't even count how many people have told me that they can't paint a Sig white plane, or a cream, or a yellow, or a yada yada yada, without 1,000 coats of that color. And the whole, it's almost like an absurd argument. The whole objective of painting this, that I thought was an advantage, is that it covered better. And I don't know, just a show of hands, how many people have had great coverage with Sig white? Not you. Okay, but what I'm saying
No,
is...
it was Brodak white, but I mixed it into the Sig clear, because that's on my hobby shop tab.
Oh, that's real simple.
But that white
Those colors you mentioned are 3 colors I had a lot of problem with the Sig.
Oh, what I'm saying is, I'm almost here with complete reversal, like if you change the...
I don't think I've ever used it.
That's really what I love. I think that's... Okay, we'll call it down. Okay.
Give me a list of what you want.
commercial for the Sig white dope. I wrote this plane at 1,750 square inches. And the fuselage and everything. How much white Brodak dope do you think I used on that? 2 planes. 1,750 square inches. This here, I used one of these whites. About 7/8 of it I had left over for touch-up. And I was very happy with it. It's see-through, but I was very pleased with the thing. I put about 10 or 15% in the clear and brushed it on, and it came up 77 ounces with a Sig 20-ounce 4-stroke unit. I was very happy with the stuff.
Give me John alone. How many kids can't get straight over the colors?
How's that camera work? Works long as I don't pop on it.
like to. Because I've got 3 line water now. And that's way, because it's going to be hard. I put all these.
Don't ever drop a can in your basement. Yeah. You hear about that? You drop the can, or else it'll land. Knock the valve off. But the can empty. I know.
I'm going to, anything else deal with on yours right now? I'm going to go ahead and spray some silver on one of these wings here, and so we can show some candy here in a little while. And on that side over there, I think I'll try to 2 or 3 tone it, and I think I might just, I'll go ahead and shoot silver on both wings, let that set up since it started to be silver, and then I'll shoot maybe white on that wing and mask off some panels and shoot red, blue, green or something on it. This one I'm going to do some candy work on. And then somewhere along the line I'd like to be able to show you, if it keeps raining, I'll have plenty of time. I'll take the gold pearl and I'll shoot it over like maybe 2 or 3 different colors to show you the effect that you can get with one color over it. If a person is looking for a, let's say a candy blue airplane, but you want to have some different effects, like a darker or a lighter, you can paint a silver, you can use gold, you can use a charcoal, and it'll come out 3 different colors by just shooting it once. And that eliminates a lot of masking on the candies and what have you. They come out, it's a subtle change in a lot of colors. And a lot of people like subtlety, and some people like the bold. So you're going to give away all the secrets. I give away all my secrets, because when I'm dead, I see that.
Open up a body shop.
It's no fun taking them to somewhere you can't use them for. Yes,
John, the other, my other target weight on that airplane, but John knows about it.
What's your weight target on that airplane?
40 ounces.
this is the one you want.
It's 30s now, right? It's about 40 ounces. Because now I'm ready to put my last coat of silver on and paint it.
Time you get done, you're going to send a lot off.
Yeah.
John, you were gonna paint it white then.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Just going to put green, purple, silver. You're going to have Bob sand it off? The color blue. You have to sand them off.
Yeah, nice.
This is a lot of airplanes. I got 3 lines airplane in it. It's a Chevy.
I got a question, how come you didn't just go with white, instead of silver, go with white from the get-go on that?
No, because I could see where the mistakes and stuff, the little...
You can't see that with white?
I can. I mean, you could, you go to a light right away, but just silver, I can see a lot better. Silver's lighter.
Well, there's one other thing is like if you put the white on there, you know, like if you put like a dust of black on there, and then sand it until your dust coat of black is off.
That's called the guide coat.
Yeah, guide coat.
That's what I do.
Then you'd have it white, what you got now, you would have that in white, and then it'd be that much quicker to finish it off with white.
Yeah, that's yours.
I don't know where, that's all you have.
There's SIG in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I suggest use a Brodak white.
Something else.
It's very high
I'm shocked. Something I'd like to bring to people's attention they may not know, but air hoses only last for so long, and this has to do with proper equipment. Air hose, they'll break down inside, and no matter what you do, you can get particles of the hose in your paint from this. I change mine, try to change it every year or two out in the shop.
I've had that for 10 years.
Yeah.
You might change it. And you say it's shorter than that.
When no air reaches the end, it's time to change. The tire gets full, and
You're gonna miss out on this just like you did in school. You'll flunk sex ed again. But on length of air hoses, if you go to a auto body store somewhere, they can tell you, they have a graph that tells you how much it drops for different inside diameters and for different lengths. And this way, if you're using a wall regulator, you'll have some kind of idea of the actual pressure you're using at your paint gun. And if you have a compressor and you have the ability to do it, get your regulator, wall regulator, or your air hose at least 25 feet away from your compressor that hooks up to your air regulator. And if it comes up and goes up a wall, put it up at an angle so the moisture will run down back into your compressor, and do drain your compressor nightly or at least weekly.
Or yearly.
Because with that, or when you need to get dust and everything in the tank. Drain your compressor nightly or weekly.
And Bob, the magic number is 25 feet? Of hose, air hose?
Magic number,
You said use at least 25 feet of air hose?
you have your regulator at least 25 feet from your compressor.
Oh, from the compressor.
Yeah. There's no magic number on length of hose. It's the longer the hose, the more the pressure drops at your paint gun.
Okay.
So if you have it 40 at the regulator and you have a 50-foot hose, you probably are painting with about 24 or 5 pounds of pressure, 26 maybe.
What if you have a hard set?
Maybe a little more than that.
If you have a hard set, PVC into the room.
Same way.
So
25 feet up, angle.
So the regulator at the gun is best at 25 points.
You have your regulator at the wall, and then your hose comes off of it. Regulator gun's a good idea, you can afford it. That way you know what you actually have in the paint gun.
Is that a motor? That's your hose. I'm your hose man. And we have lunch together. Some crazy guys.
Right.
Does this paint job only have one paint stirring stick? What's the deal here, guys? I'll use that like Wendy used the paintbrush last night.
Worked, didn't it?
Yeah. Had us all fooled. We didn't know what color we were painting. This is one of the most important things besides the reduction, proper reduction, is the proper mixing of material. And a strainer. I don't know if some guys have, your paint guns have a small strainer on their pickup tube or not. Some are available. I'll send you a box of these too.
I cut them down the middle.
I get more use these.
Yeah, well, I cut them down the middle.
Always learn something.
This is unthinned, I'm assuming. Paint comes out.
That's not a thing. That's part of it. I put my ears back in. And I clean up, brush that out, put it back into it.
Okay. Why don't you have a separate can for that, mark it, and that way you'll know that silver that you dump back in there is 50/50 or however you're spraying it.
Yes, I've been doing it so long, I can tell when I spray it. Okay, I mean, you're right, my information.
I found mine thinner and you go to yeah, you need a quart can. You got plenty of cans with the mix and you can write on it.
The reason I do that is
Do you recommend the use of a viscosity cover?
Well, you don't use it in here because you're professional painter.
Actually, with new paints, I have a stirring stick that tells me 4 to 1, 1 to 1, 2 to 1. So I mix according to my, I have an aluminum stick that's marked off buying that stuff. So that's how it's mixed. Viscosity used to be black. They talked about that in your old began. And that was very important. I won't tell you that you shouldn't use it. Because if you're using one and it's working for you.
Well, I'm sure there's a feel as to how much is too thin and how much is too thick.
And this is basically exactly, yes. Would be a good idea. You use one?
I started to with the HVLP.
Did you find that it's more effective for you?
Well, it's different. I'm making the paint a lot thinner than I would have if I were painting with the other.
Well, the one thing I've always kind of done before is lacquers and my model airplane paint. I just mix it to where I feel it sprays right. That's what I do.
It's like a dash of salt thing for it. Yeah.
When I make my chili, somebody says, how much salt and pepper and chili powder do you put in? Well, I don't know.
Season to taste. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Man. Who said bam? Bam. Bam. Emerald. That's how you get sold by Emerald standards. Bam. Did you light your tray out? He doesn't watch the cooking channel. Jerry, yeah, sure.
You're better off with temporary when you can turn it into 30 degrees. Spray Walter's hand too. That's different color now in this guy. Everybody hold your breath. You don't want to ship them to a country. The tank stands $18. Shipping is
Right about now, my wife is going, are you spraying now? No, honey.
Oh, Mike painted some this
I'm going to even it out right on. Put one each coat on and do that this month. Areas of water that is Yeah.
This is one coat of white over silver. That's just one coat. I just put it coat by color. Wow.
We have a mix 50-50?
Yeah.
I guess the best thing to do is,
Yeah, that's it.
The largest.
show a light.
Yeah. Now, what's that material that's on there?
It'll glide. Yeah. It's a little teleheavy right now.
One coat of white over silver.
That really.
Just a little one coat, John?
For real.
John, where are your lead out? He cut it already, he's gonna hang it up. John, that was cut 50-50. Right, 50-50. That way it was cut 50-50. Yeah.
You must have been a winter spring.
Take one breath.
To me, I would shoot it out of sand. John, are you still selling any of those like I was?
Yeah, you want to cover the rest of the soul? Yeah, that's it. One and a half. Smaller ones or the larger? That's really the color. Yes. So I don't care if it's no different color. I just want to have one face. You can see it lighter and darker, but it don't hurt. The color still looks all good. You can maybe try some orange on this. I can sand it off. You know, just see how that orange is on it. Okay. How much of the silver did you sand off of that? Oh, if you got like I had this, I sand it way down to almost your primer. What do you cover the window? That six cover all. That's an ounce more, but I worried about a bunch of holes in it. Because I'll hang them up down, you have to make them get down. Okay. That mix was on it. That one is good.
Let that dry a little bit. Let this dry.
It's much more critical when you look at it, the money so long as very right.
That's pretty long. I use lithium batteries.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. You have any problems with flushing?
Don't tell me.
I'm not worried about it. Most of the flush comes out when you're painting and stuff. A lot of people go through return. I don't like to do that. I know that people have said that they paint their lane in and clear, and then run ahead and put a light coat on. So if you use a light coat, it's not bad. If the person goes overboard, you can really go down through there, attack your fellows and everything. Just like on a car. Eat right down, go out right. You got it all through there. And that sometimes will cause little filler marks to bleed through too.
Would you be kind enough to repeat the question and then
Okay, this question was if we have any trouble with blushing. And this is brushing now a little bit. Some people will use a retarder. I don't like to use a retarder because it slows the process of drying down, which increases to me the time that the moisture can get into your paint. I'll use a fast drying thinner or reducer. Here I have very little trouble with Brodak. It'll blush like any other dope or any other paint. And I just keep painting, get my paint work done, let it dry out, clear it, sand it, and rub it, and it goes away.
when you rub it, it goes away?
Yeah.
So you really don't worry about it in your color coats?
Pardon?
You don't worry about it in your color coats because once you put the clear on and you
Yeah,
rub it all
he asked if I worry about it in my color coats, and I don't.
Well,
Same thing with your clear?
I painted the plain Brodak blue, and then after I put the clear on it, the whole airplane just turned practically white.
Right.
I mean, I spoke to Wendy about that, and then the only way we corrected it at that time was by putting in some of the retarder, and we're giving it a light coat of clear. But you're saying you could rub that all out without putting more clear on it?
Once it dries,
All of it when it's almost completely
it
white?
should. I've never had any problem with it. I suppose there's cases where it's gone down deep enough, and
It's a hard
it
break to
comes
see a
out.
blue plane turn white, you know?
Yeah, well, the clear, it just turns milky because of the moisture and stuff in it. And, it lays there long enough and it just keeps collecting moisture. Yes?
What do you use to rub it out with?
What do I use to rub it out with? I use my automotive products. Wendy uses Gorham. Other things also?
Automotive stuff is fine, I like Gorham.
Okay, I've used, it's called a power compound. It's the McGuire's. And I've also used Race Glaze. Race Glaze is a creamy compound. No, that's the brand name of it, is Race Glaze. I have used 3M...
Finesse?
Yeah, Finesse. Finesse it too, works real good. I like to use McGuire products because I've had good luck with cars, so I've just continued them. Wendy has sent me some Gorhams. I've used a little Gorham. I think I have to work a little harder with it. He may have a trick of how it works real good for him, but it worked harder for me, but it got a very good result. And I don't mind working a little harder to get a very good result. A lot of people, they want it right now, and it takes a while to get a good result. Yes?
Bob, I've tried when I had a clear cause a blush over a color, taking like a paper towel and just getting it damp, not at all drippy wet, but just damp with thinner, and just rubbing it on it real gently. And a lot of times, am I playing with? Yeah, am I playing with fire doing that, or?
Not as long as you don't destroy the finish and it sticks to it, and because you know if you get enough thinner on there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It'll soften.
If your base coat brushes, your color coat brushes, and your clear coat brushes, you're just rubbing that clear coat out. What about the stuff underneath?
It comes out
already white.
It comes out because the blush moves up as you put your clear on.
The blush all moves to the last coat.
Yeah, it comes up into the clear.
You know, it may not happen right away, like Bob says, you have to wait for it to dry.
Yeah, it has to dry.
But if you leave it there long enough, it'll come out.
It's going to be on the surface.
It'll be on the surface.
Any other good questions?
The blush doesn't affect the adhesion or the fuel-proof qualities?
No, not unless you start laying the paint on more and more, and it's really super wet because you're trying to get the blush out of it. No, let it flash out properly. Go back and put your next coat on.
So you're not leaving pores in there?
Right. Don't trap that. You know, anytime you trap solvents or you trap moisture, yeah, you're asking for trouble. So yes, the still evolves is the fact that you do need to let it flash out properly. Any other good questions?
Yeah, you're talking about top coats. Your final top coat, do you put on a wet coat? Or do you put...
In clear?
Yeah.
You want to know about top coats. When I'm getting an airplane ready to finishing it, and let's say I've got 5-6 coats of clear over it, and my lettering and everything's all done, my clear is over it, I will sand that with maybe 600 or 1,000, and then I'll go back and put on 2 or 3 good, nice wet coats of clear. I'll let that set for however long I let it sit, depending on when I can get back to it. Then I'll sand that out with 1,500 or 2,000, and I polish it out from there. That way it also ensures me of the fact that I have some clear over this. Because you have to remember something, there's not a lot of mill thickness with dope. So you put 6 coats on it, and your 6 coats and my 6 coats, even if we hold the gun the same distance, the same gun, the way I mix it, I may put more clear on it, or you may put more clear on it. But once you sand through, and if you break it down to where there's only 1 coat left on there, and you can't tell that, it'll be attacked easier by solvents, like your nitro and stuff. Much quicker than if there were an actual 6 coats of clear on there. So if a person has the time, go ahead and sand that thing nice and smooth like you were going to polish it out. Put 2 or 3 nice, good wet coats on it, you know, let them flash out. That'll sand really easy and polish out good. And you know you have some good clear over the top of it. And it doesn't ever hurt to put a little double coat around your sharp edges and areas that you know, edges, front, leading edge, trailing edges that you know you sand through without even getting them because your paper hits it without you realizing it. So those are important things. Anything for you to add on that, Wendy?
Just on the cap strips, you see where John has gone through?
Yeah.
And that's how it should be, that you stop when you go through. But when I brush it on, I take a striping brush, go around the box.
Yeah.
And then when I do the silver, I'll go around even more. So that by the time, and of course the clear, will just keep going back and forth.
Right.
But when you actually get to a cap strip that's finished, it's got 30, 40, 50 extra coats of paint. And that seems to, typhoons in a car, anybody can, pour it if they want.
Everybody should be aware of the fact that an edge does not hold paint like a flat surface. You put 6 coats of paint on a surface shaped like that or even rounded. That edge does not have the same amount of paint that the flat surface does because the paint has a tendency to move one way or the other just because of gravity and what have you. So your edges are always the things that you could go back and double coat, and then you know that you have enough on there that you can sand it, and you're going to have less problems with sanding through it and having to go back and touch it up.
Are you wet sanding with the clear with the 1500, or are you doing that dry?
All my sanding after I get the paint thing painted is done wet.
It's all done.
The only thing I do dry are my first coats of clear and my primer.
Are you using water as a
Water and soap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why soap?
Soap helps cut a little bit. Soap helps cut a little bit, gives a little finer.
One drop of dish soap.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of soap. Just 1 drop of soap and it sands nicer and seems to be more even. And with a model airplane, of course, you have to keep it out of an area that might not be sealed so it doesn't get inside. And that's why a lot of people, I think Roy included, that's why Roy doesn't like the water sand his colors and stuff because he's afraid it'll go through and get into
See,
his
the
wood.
seconds won't go away. Seconds evaporates before it goes out most of the time.
Yeah, I was talking to one gentleman that used that and he had to quit because it affects his hands so much.
You gotta use rubber gloves.
And rubber
Even
gloves.
I've quit doing it.
That's what I said, you need to use, need to use rubber gloves when you're using the soap like that.
Thank you.
So, well, while I'm cleaning this gun out and stuff, you guys have, this is your fluid control. Okay, I just back it out all the way and I'll pull my trigger clear down. And I'll turn this in until I feel it, move the trigger right there. Back that off. Okay, screw it in. Right, now that's the best place to be painting when you're going to paint an airplane. If you're going to do some panels, you can turn this down so that you can shoot your paint a little drier so you don't have that wetness that'll happen sometimes on a stripe or something.
And then, of course, everybody knows this is your pattern adjustment. Because I'll use this paint gun, I'll turn this clear down to a zero pattern, and I'll turn this clear down to where barely any paint comes out, and then I can fog along the tape line. Like, let's say I have a red plane and I put a yellow scallop on it, and I want to go around the edge of that scallop with black or orange or something, and I'll just turn that down and test it. I should see some color come out there, and I can get almost right up to the plane, and I can just go right down the line. With an airbrush, you do the same thing, only you can do it even finer, because you can tune it down to a real fine point with an airbrush. But this usually works pretty good for most things that I do. That's so just this, yeah. Hold that trigger down, and then turn this into a few. You'll be able to push up on the trigger. Yeah. That's your fluid. You may have a paint that's painted, you don't adjust that differently. That's just basic paint start. Brings it down there, and then you don't want to right spot in the center of your paint. That's correct. And you can turn your nozzle in your direction. The air cap behind here. Sometimes your paint gun, after you clean it and stuff, so you put it back together and you paint it. This isn't tight enough in here, so it's sealed. Yeah, that could be it. Take this apart, clean it inside real good, get this in tight, get it tight. If not that, get a kit for it to rebuild. Not necessarily. Bob, is that true that the Velvet stuff? Yes. The Velvet works the same. This is your fluid. Yeah, I understand. You back it out, press it down, take it back it out. Right there. Yeah. Now, and how do I clean the packing behind the nut there? Well, this is a little tricky. I can do. Yes. Just pull me out of it. Yeah, just take it apart, clean it up. Where's the packing at? Well, I'm leaving this, and it's got to be down in here. Now, what is the packing material? It's a leather piece. Now, I can go buy